Beauty, fashion, creativity, and so much more. She won her way into our hearts on season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Her name's Pearl, and she's about to be exposed. Oh, are you ready?
Not again.
Not again. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I mean, it's actually your place, right?
Yeah, no. Welcome to my home. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So take me back to Little Pearl. You're in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you used to draw rich old ladies with big diamonds and furs, and that led to your drag persona. So how did that come to be?
Well, I don't know. I just like to draw, and that's what I liked to draw. I like to draw naked ladies too.
Okay.
I remember this like it was yesterday, but I remember my mother finding a bunch of drawings of naked women in my closet, and I was like so embarrassed, and you know, she was like, oh, ha ha ha, it's the beginning of this whatever, but really I was just like infatuated with like women and women's bodies and femininity and all of that. It was not like a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Like she probably would have thought it that time.
That it was, yeah, you being into women, but little did she know.
Yeah, I wasn't just like drawing titties. I was drawing like women, like, you know.
And then how did that end up actually turning into the drag aesthetic?
Well, I couldn't afford anything except like thrift store lingerie and, you know, like cheap furs and stuff. But so it was just kind of like an aesthetic that worked for me. I was all about makeup and wigs and like accessories versus like the fashion, I guess.
Okay.
So it was just like cheap, and you know, it's like easy to translate that kind of drawing of like a woman in like lots of fur and jewelry and translate that into drag versus, I don't know, like fashionable garments and things.
Exactly. So like you used a different way to be able to get into it.
Yeah.
When you ended up moving to Chicago.
Yeah.
And the first time you did drag was with Kimchi for Halloween?
Yes.
What were you? How did that go? Was it just you and drag, or was it an actual character?
I was like a she-devil. So I had a friend make this like red mermaid cut dress, which was horribly inconvenient to wear throughout the night, especially for your first time. And I made like a pitchfork it was awful. It was like what did I use? It was like a broomstick with, I think I used foil and red duct tape to create like this staff.
So you like went to the dollar store for your drag? Like it was like,
well, the dress was actually really beautiful, but my accessories that I made myself were garbage, yeah.
And have you and Kimchi still friends?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen her recently. I hang out when we can in LA.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So after Halloween, and did you start doing drag weekly? Like when did it become an actual thing that you were doing?
Kind of immediately. Yeah, like the first time we went out, we were seen and invited to come back in drag. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then it just became a little bit of a hobby.
Yeah.
And then like a year and a half later, you end up on Drag Race.
Yeah. I should be America's Next Drag Superstar because I do glamour, I do freaky, I do funny. I've just worked so hard. You have been telling me how exhausted I come off, and it's because I am.
What was your audition video like? Like, what was that process like?
My audition video was great. I had a friend in Chicago who did a couple of other drag racers videos. He did like Dieter Ritz's video, and I can't remember who else, but yeah, I had somebody do it for me, and it was a great video. It was really entertaining, and I looked great in it, even though my drag was so DIY and kitschy at the time. But I don't know, I wasn't really surprised when I got on Drag Race.
Really?
I mean, of course I was shocked and everything, but I did such great things in Chicago with drag that it just made sense, you know? I feel like Chicago, coming into doing drag in Chicago was a lot different when I left Chicago, the way the drag scene there.
Where were you when you got that phone call?
I was at my apartment in New York. So I had moved to New York, and then I got the call like maybe 3 or 4 weeks later. So I was at home. I mean, they tell you to be at home. They get you on like webcam So yeah, they tell you to get into a quiet room by yourself, and we're just gonna have one more interview with you, and then yeah, they tell you that you're on.
That's so cool. And then you get on Drag Race, and recently, we'll talk about it a little bit further in your My Past video. You said that you were like in a dark time when you were on Drag Race.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I was in a dark time at that time though. I was like in a I was in like an exhausted point in my life where I was like really beat up and like broken down, but still like fighting through. I don't know, I didn't like get to this point in my life where like this turning point in my life where I realized like I had so much
Stuff that was going on.
Yeah, and like had gone through, and I don't know, like when I was there I was just kind of hardened. I wasn't like enlightened yet, I guess.
Looking back on it, do you wish that you could have done Drag Race without that mindset and without that? Would you have rather have done that?
Of course, yeah.
Do you think you would have had as many memorable moments?
Yeah, I would have had better moments. I mean, I was just like struggling when going through like mental stuff like my whole life really. So I just think about like everything would have been easier had I not been going through that. But you know, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't like wish that my life was different, or I'm not that person, you know? But yeah, like would I like to go through Drag Race again knowing what I know now about myself? Well, of course.
You turned out looks, and then your snatch. I think you did. I think you turned out
for the time.
For the time.
For the time, yeah.
And your snatch game as Big Ange was great.
Thanks.
It's Big Ange!
Hi, Rupaul. I'm feeling very excited.
What is your bra size?
It's a medical mystery.
Did you ever hear anything from her before she passed?
No, I didn't. But you know, I'm sure she was going through a lot at that time.
Yeah.
Before dying. So yeah, I didn't take it personally.
Yeah. But that was still a very big highlight of your career on Drag Race.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to pay homage to her.
Homage. And then another big moment that you had before Vanjie and before we had the whole Valentina lip sync fiasco, you had one of the memes of the season. So my one question to you is, was there actually something on your face?
So there's something on my face.
Yeah.
Well, she was just looking at me like there was. I had to ask.
So she had to ask.
I had to ask.
But that moment ended up becoming something so big and, you know, seen amongst everybody. And then you talked about it recently in Hey Queen.
She turned to me and she said, "Nothing you say matters unless that camera is rolling."
Which then turned into this big whirlwind of lots of different things, you know, different outlets picking things up. And then I heard that you had a producer call you and say that you're not going to be on All Stars or asked back on, you know, Drag Race at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you regret saying what you said, or do you still feel the same way, or what's your feelings on that whole situation now?
I don't know. I mean, it's just unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate because that was such a defining moment, and it's like not necessarily a moment that should define me.
Correct.
You know, I've had like more than one party promoter like invite me to do a show, and they said at the end of the gig, like, "Wow, this was such an amazing experience. I didn't know what it was gonna be like," you know, because apparently I came off as such a specific kind of, like in such a weird way, I guess, on TV that people didn't really get to know who I am,
Yeah.
who I actually am, which is like great, you know. I am not a very high maintenance diva queen who's out. I'm like kind of a good time girl. So it was just been interesting trying to navigate getting out of that like character.
Correct.
that was built around me, I guess.
And then after all of that controversy happened and the Hey Queen stuff happened, and people, you did have queens that did come out and support you, and you did have people that did say that, you know, that is technically what happens on the show.
Well, way more queens, had discussions with me in private than they did publicly.
That's nice.
Of course. I don't blame every drag queens for not coming out publicly and saying anything. I get it.
Do you feel, I know that recently, also on Instagram, you said that you would go back on an All Stars, and you said that you would win. Do you,
well, I was just talking shit.
But I mean, it's not true. Do you think that that bridge can be repaired? Do you think that there's a possibility in the future?
I mean, it's not anything that I'm thinking about. It's fine. I feel like I'm doing the best. I'm doing great things for myself, regardless of Drag Race. I like the idea of being an artist who is independent of a big commercial production that is a show like Drag Race anyway. So I'm not vying. I wouldn't vie to be on Drag Race again, but I mean, it was an amazing experience, and I do feel like I've grown exponentially since the show, and it's kind of a shame for someone like me to not be on it.
Correct.
But I mean, it's not something that I'm crying about or wishing things could be different.
Yeah.
It's fine. Everything's cool.
I mean, it was pretty cool too, because you did make top 3.
Yeah.
You did end up, being able to tour the whole world. You're literally seen by so many people because you made it so far.
I know, and I do not have any bad things to say about Drag Race in that regard. I'm so grateful to Drag Race.
For sure.
I am not stupid. I know that I have all of these things because of Drag Race. I think things got a little misconstrued when I was just being open and honest about my experience.
And I mean, it is a reality show too. And I think that that's a thing that a lot of times people forget, especially the Twitter world, especially the people that, are the fans now. I think that people forget it is a reality show. And, you guys have a totally different experience than what is technically seen through the eyes of somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that people forget that a lot.
Yeah. They do. I mean, at the time it was just kind of for some reason, it was just kind of hard for me to swallow that this is the way that it has to be on set, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. It was just weird. It felt a little bit heavier in that moment.
Yeah.
In that time than maybe it would feel now.
It's kind of from what I'm hearing from you saying, it's kind of you were expecting more of a Big Brother experience where the cameras are fully on you 24/7 and whatever plays.
I don't know what I was expecting. Nothing shocked me about being on set except for the way Rupaul acted, which was very unusual. She was a very unusual behaved person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever. It's all good.
Have you heard from Ru since the show or heard from her since the comments?
No, of course not.
Do you think that she keeps in contact with anybody?
She texted me and was very upset.
Yeah?
And she really...
She FaceTimed you.
Yeah, she showed up at my house, She hacked all of my Instagram accounts. She hacked my emails.
Rupaul was your hacker.
She was my hacker.
She was your hacker. So you make top 3.
Yeah.
Did you think that you were going to make it to the top 3? When you walked into the workroom the first day, what did you think?
I don't know. It was honestly, well, at this point, it was 5 years ago. It was a really long time ago. And I was just kind of blacked out with nervousness and anxiety the entire time. So I was in kind of a dreamlike state the entire time I was filming. It just was a really bizarre thing. I don't know. I was never comfortable. You look at other queens and it's they've never been more comfortable than being on set of Drag Race. Bob the drag queen, for instance.
Yeah.
He's thriving in that environment, but I just never felt comfortable. There goes a nail. See, it's a sign.
It's a sign.
Yeah. I think people think that I couldn't handle the whole showbiz thing in, oh, nothing you say matters unless the cameras are rolling. Well, that's showbiz, get over it. It's I can definitely handle that. I think it's RuPaul's Everybody Say Love message just being a complete farce. That was kind of the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, it was just a complete 180 from what you had seen on TV and what
well,
you
it's like
were
they say, never
brought
meet
to.
your heroes.
Exactly.
So it was like that experience. She wasn't like this enlightened individual, this queer like icon in that moment to me.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like I don't think you are that enlightened actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you would say that in that kind of situation.
That stinks though. It's like a...
It doesn't. It's fine. Like I can handle that. It just was a letdown in the moment.
In the moment, yeah.
She's fine. I'm sure she's not, you know, a monster, but I just kind of, my idea of her changed in that moment.
So your nudes that ended up coming out and leaking.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's not like I want to talk about that moment, but
oh yeah, of course.
it was just like a moment that was really kind of awkward in a time where I was being like ridiculed a lot.
What were you ridiculed for?
Oh, I mean, everything. I mean, it's just things that we all go through ridicule.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking shit about Drag Race queens on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of people talking about shit about Drag Race queens on the internet.
Yeah.
Season 7 for a lot of fans, people consider that like the worst season. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? Because you guys had so many good queens that came from your season. Like,
yeah.
You know, you have Violet, you have Trixie, you have Katya, you have all these people. Like, why do you think?
Well, not even that. The season 7 shifted the dynamic of Drag Race. I mean, like so many amazing artistic queens were able to go on Drag Race and flourish because of season 7, like being that sort of visually centered season. And it's not that people weren't entertained. It was just like a different kind of entertainment. They didn't realize they were being entertained in a different kind of way. You know. Then, you know, queens like Naomi Smalls, Sasha Velour, Kim Chi, Aquaria, you know, they went on Drag Race and they, you know, barely gave you a meme, but nobody ever said anything about it because they were like able to express themselves in their true artistic form.
Yeah.
Without saying, dance, monkey, dance, how come you're not making us laugh, you know? So, but it's fine. I'll take that, like, hit for the rest of the show. Why not?
You also, during all of this stuff that was happening, you also released an album.
Yeah.
I think that it gave a different vibe to what people would consider music done by drag queens. You know, you had more of an EDM, like more of like, you know, a dance type record that you put out.
Well, I just hate how like when you go on Drag Race, you come out with an album and everyone's like a singer that goes on Drag Race. And I don't know, I just naturally am the type of person to do other things, you know, I'm always trying to do like the opposite. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're doing everything. You're
I'm a
drawing, you're doing...
nonconformist. I have my hands in a lot of different pots, but I just wanted to deliver something that was a little different. And I was like partying and raving a lot at the time. So I don't know. I liked electronic music and wanted to deliver something that was a little more listenable and to like a greater audience. So,
would you do another album?
I would. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm a little more visually creative than...
Visual album.
That'd be cool.
I could see that.
Yeah, I'd have to teach myself how to do that, but I don't know. I have enough projects going on.
You recently, a few months ago, put out a video on your YouTube called My Past.
I feel a bit out of my comfort zone being so open and so vulnerable about some of the things that I'm about to share with you, so please bear with me.
And you went into some pretty great detail over the things that have happened in your life from trauma that's happened to you over the years. And what led you to make that, and what led you to want to speak out? Because I know that when in the first video you said that you were kind of hesitant, and then you did this, and I think that it was a really great thing that I think that a lot of LGBT youth and a lot of people that are coming out or have come out have a lot of very similar or almost similar experiences to what you had. What led you to do that?
Just the need to connect with my audience more. I never really realized that there was so like such greatness in having a supportive audience, and I had done so much like self-hating that I thought my audience was more like speculating me than like supporting me and like encouraging me. So I just broke out of that and realized that I had something great with my audience and wanted to be more honest with like my experience on the like my past has a lot to do with like what happened on the show. Like in a weird way, RuPaul saw things in me that I hadn't quite yet like seen.
Correct.
So I like reacted to that, and I don't know, like after the show I just kind of went through this journey, and I realized that I should be more open about who I am, like not only with myself but with, you know, the people that are supporting me. So
Was the response good? Did you get people reaching out and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like I still get messages like daily for that video.
How does that make you feel?
It feels good. I don't know. I don't like being a high drama person. I feel like you know, you look at other queens like Alaska or Bob or Katya, and you know, they just have this like light and this energy and whatever. And I don't want to be like a drag queen who's known for like their traumatic past. Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want it to be like my storyline or anything like that. So, but you know, it's a part of me, and it's something that, you know, it helps people when I open up about it. So it's something that should be celebrated and out there, not like, I don't know, bashfully cowering from that part of my life, you know?
But that's good though. I mean, to be able to accept it and say it out loud is one thing.
Yeah.
And to be able to have people, I mean, that's a big thing. Cause like, I think until you actually say something to somebody else, you know, you're just keeping it on the inside and you literally are not
coming to terms with things like that on your own is one thing, and then like sharing it with like your closest allies is another thing, and then like putting it on blast for like hundreds of thousands of people is like on a whole other level. So that's why it's like taken so long, I guess.
But I'm also glad that you did it in the way that you want to do it, as opposed to being exploited kind of on the show for saying it.
Oh my God, yeah. Like there's moments on the show where it's like cringe-worthy.
Yes.
It's like, baby.
Yeah. It's like, keep the moment for yourself. Like,
make it real.
Yeah.
You know? And I wasn't rad. There's no way I was even like ready to think about it when I was on the show, much less like discuss it. And they totally were trying to like talk about things that I was not even like whoa. So I haven't even gone there in my own mind. Like, why are you trying to talk about this kind of stuff with me? I'm not talking about that.
Well, that's good you said no. And then you did it in your own time.
Yeah, but anyway, these queens are like open immediately.
A little bit too much. It's like, it's almost your time to go. Now speak up.
Yeah, like using these moments to stick around almost.
Yeah, which is kind of the sad part about it, because you shouldn't exploit your own self.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say it. It's gross to do that.
It is gross.
On TV.
It's not the best. So, breaking away from a little bit of the serious now, there was a little rumor on the internet. I want you to clear this up.
Okay.
Was Scarlet Envy your drag daughter?
Oh, no, definitely not. But she was like a really good friend of mine. So, basically, the most motherly thing that I would do would be sending her away with suitcases full of like old drag that I was always getting rid of. I would always like dump off all of this old drag onto Scarlet. And she was Honey's like godmother.
Okay.
So every time I would leave town, Scarlet would watch Honey.
Aww.
Yeah.
So
it's funny watching Scarlet go from like my nanny to like the most famous drag queen in the world. Yeah, but I was so happy for her when she got on the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now that that's cleared up.
Is that like a rumor?
Yes. Literally everybody on Reddit was like, is it true? Is it fake? And somebody would say yes, and somebody would say no. And somebody would say yes.
Not like drag daughter, but yeah, like she gave me one of my first shows in Brooklyn, and yeah, we're just like really good friends.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Are you friends with anybody else from your season? Do you keep in contact? Like, are you close friends with anybody from your season?
Well, I'm friendly with everyone from my season, but
or are you like buddy with anybody?
I don't see anyone regularly.
Yeah.
No, but I keep in touch, yeah, with pretty much
That's
almost everyone.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I have to think like how close in touch that is. Maybe like what, once every 6 months I talk to everyone from the season, I guess.
It's kind of like a family.
Kind of, yeah.
Dysfunctional, bad family.
I don't know, some of them not so much, but
One thing that's been making me laugh quite a bit, and your fans really love, is Roxanne.
Hi guys, it's me, Roxanne. Welcome back to my show.
They love Roxanne. Everybody loves Roxanne. How did that come to be? How did you, like, was it just you one day, like, randomly putting on a wig and then just a voice? Like, what happened?
well, Roxanne's like my illustrations, right? So I basically, I don't know. She's like a culmination of so many things. She's like this character that's been in my head. She's always existed in my drag a little bit. She's always existed in my art. And she was really brought out like with like the beauty, like the discovery of the beauty community on YouTube, which I think is hysterical, and I'm totally tuned in with like all the dramas and everything. I like watch it like it's Days of Our Lives. But yeah, I don't know. I was trying to get more into like video stuff and YouTube, and I thought it was a really cool concept. I didn't really understand what YouTube was. But when I realized that people were making like so much money off of it, and like getting to express like their art on YouTube, I thought it was something that I could get into. And I don't know, it just feels like this really cheesy formula to like be a YouTube star, and I don't know, I just couldn't ever take it seriously. So Roxanne was sort of born through like my trying to get into YouTube and realizing it wasn't for me, and just like loving all the drama that comes with it.
Are there gonna be more characters?
I've thought about it, but I don't know, I'm just focusing on Roxanne right now, I guess. Yeah, she's enough for now, for sure.
Yeah, she's insane.
Yeah, it would be fun to do other characters though.
I mean, if you went back on Drag Race, I think you should do Roxanne first. You know,
Oh, I'd
Smash
probably
Game.
walk in as Roxanne.
Yeah?
Probably. She'd have to make like a runway appearance for sure.
Yes, for absolutely sure. You've transformed like from what we saw on the show to like a Roxanne, like doing complete, like, you know, your prosthetic type things with the lips and, you know, the craziness that you're doing. And the aesthetic of the makeup has been so awesome. You did Drew Barrymore. And Drew Barrymore saw Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was pretty cool. It was very validating. I'm not really in with a bunch of celebrities or anything.
Yeah.
So to be recognized by someone like Drew Barrymore, who is like one of my favorite people in the world, that was pretty cool.
Favorite Drew Barrymore movie?
My favorite Drew Barrymore movie? Oh my God. Probably Never Been Kissed. Yeah.
You didn't say E.T., so that's good.
Roxanne is E.T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So recently, your social media accounts were hacked.
Yeah. That was fun.
I can imagine. Did you figure out where it came from, how it happened?
I like did some weird magical spells and tracked it down, like tracked an IP address down to somewhere in the lands of Turkey. And all of my languages were changed to Turkish. And yeah, I have no idea what that was.
That is so bizarre.
Yeah,
Because
it
it
was
literally
really
was like
scary.
every account, wasn't it?
Oh, every account I've ever like created a password for was hacked. Like my bank accounts, my emails, like business negotiations were all like taken away.
Wow.
Everything was hacked. Uber, Grubhub. Everything, sis.
And then on top of that, you and some other queens have been having some drama with elite queens and management and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had like a really crazy week, and I was on vacation in Hawaii for like 3 weeks. And I like broke my phone, and like from there all of these horrible things started happening like within a few days of each other. But I essentially lost like everything that I have like built and worked for like the last 10 years of my life were like completely gone. Like
It's insane.
within the matter of a few days. Yeah, it was really crazy.
What fully happened with the management thing?
Oh God, it's such a long, like crazy story. But essentially, my manager was sued by somebody who is a horrible person, and like he ended up getting into like some crazy financial issues, and I never expected him to like handle it the way that he handled it, because like we've all known each other for so long, like we've been friends like way before Drag Race. And yeah, it was just like really crazy to see him like essentially steal all of our merch and profits and like gig money, and yeah.
Are you out money?
Oh yeah, for sure. He has like gig money and yeah, merch money. So he was holding my merch from me for a while, and then I had to get like really nasty and start threatening. Which I hate that I have to do like crazy shit like that, but you know, I got my merch back at least, and thank God it all sold within
Yeah.
a few days, so I was able to like break even. for
That's
my
good.
expenses. But yeah, I'm still like out money. Yeah.
Do you? Oh,
I mean, I don't know why I've had a horrific experience with managers since Drag Race. And that's like another reason that I've been so like, oh God, everything just has to change. I have to take complete control of like my life. I want to be in control of everything. Like, I want to be like self-sufficient. I don't want to rely on anybody to do anything at this point.
so are you independent now?
I have somebody helping me with my management, you know,
Yeah.
because I can't handle like all of these emails and stuff all the
Yeah.
time.
You're like, no.
But yeah, I mean, as far as my like merchandise goes, you know, I want to be more of like a one-off artist. I'm not trying to like create like a brand by any means
Yeah.
right now. I don't know. I'm just trying to like hustle, I guess.
And are you fully letting the management thing go and losing that money that you had? Are you looking to recoup it back?
Oh, I mean, like what, sue him?
Yeah.
You asked me if I'm going to sue him? Well, it takes a lot more money to sue somebody than,
Yeah, than
like,
to act.
what I would be getting back, unfortunately. Otherwise, we all would have sued by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, people always say, oh, well, sue him, sis, sue him, sis. Like, easier said than done. You can't just sue somebody. There's
Correct.
so
much.
involved. Yeah, I wish people would stop telling everyone to just sue someone when they've been done wrong. Like, like literally the least helpful thing you could say.
Yeah. Sue him, sis.
Yeah.
So you are a very creative person.
Thanks.
You draw, you do your sculptures, you do so many things, not only in your drag aesthetic. If you had to choose a different career besides just doing drag as your main thing, what do you think you would be if you had to give up drag altogether?
Oh my God. I don't know. Like, I feel like I have my hands in so many pots, and I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, but a master of none sometimes. But I was a hairdresser full time before I was a drag queen full time. So maybe I would be doing like an extension of that. I don't know. I don't know. I like to think that I would be like living in a cottage by the sea making sculptures for a living, but that doesn't seem realistic today. I have absolutely no idea how to answer that question, but I would hope that I would just be an artist of some form.
In some capacity.
Yeah.
To be able to have your creative outlet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the kind of person that doesn't need to be rich. You know, like I grew up with no money. And I just need to be able to support myself and like be happy. I'm not the kind of person that needs like to do like gigs 5 nights a week and like rake in coins and live lavishly at all.
Yeah. So speaking of happy, are you truly happy right now?
Oh, I'm so happy right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Living life?
Yeah, everything's like really peaceful and calm, and I have somebody that loves me, and everything's just like a really easy right now. And I have a great relationship with my audience. I'm able to like create art and sell myself. And wait, that sounds weird, but you know, I still like to do like 1 or 2 gigs and travel a month. Just keep it like really low key and enjoyable.
Yeah.
And be able to like connect with people when I travel rather than drag my tired ass and luggage around the world. Like that's just not.
But it's kind of like you found a good balance now.
I found such a good balance with like everything right now. And you know, I'm still working on new things, you know. I still want to give back creatively as much as I can.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't a drag queen though.
So what's next for Pearl?
Well, it sounds so weird, but I think I might be moving to Hawaii at the end of the year.
Wow.
Yeah. Like my boyfriend lives there, and it's a place that has always like spiritually brought me to it many times. I've been there like 8 or 9 or 10 times at this point. And I don't know, like I like LA, and I like being so accessible to everything here, but I'm really like antisocial and kind of like anti everything, and I kind of just want to move away to the jungle. You know what I
That would
mean?
be nice though.
Yeah, so I don't know, like I'm just really easygoing with it right now. Like my boyfriend eventually has to go back.
Yeah.
So like he's here with me right now, but he has to go back, and I would like to go back with him. But I don't know, that could be like as temporary as I want it to be.
Exactly.
I don't know, like my life is just kind of an adventure, so.
You only live once. You got to take those opportunities when they present themselves.
You really do. Like when else would you move to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Like, when is this opportunity ever gonna come back?
Exactly. You take it, you do it, and then, like you said, like you can take the gigs as you want. You can do what you want. You can actually put in passion to your projects. And be
Yeah.
happy.
I mean, I eventually want to live a life where money is not even like an object in my world. Not because I have so much of it, but because I don't have to exchange it with anybody anymore.
Exactly.
I want to just have my own space, have my own land, and like live off of the land, really. That's what my human nature is like bringing me back to.
That's nice.
Yeah, I was just out there like looking at properties.
Do
So who
you like it?
knows?
Is it beautiful? Like just your vibe?
Yeah, it's stunning. There's nothing wrong with it.
So one thing that you talk about in this interview is your fans and how important they are to you. So has there been any words of wisdom that you have been given over the course of your career, or a motto that you live by that you believe could help LGBT community or fans or anybody who's watching this interview?
I don't know because the way that I've always handled problems and issues in my life was to like run away from them. So it's like always worked for me. So I guess like run away from your problems, kids. Move to LA.
I think that's the perfect way. Run away
but
from your
seriously,
problems.
like I don't have wisdom for anybody. Like, yeah, things get better with time and all of that, but really like when things are going really wrong in my life, I have a tendency to abandon and just like jump ship and like reinvent myself. I've done it like 3 or 4 times now, and I don't know, I don't see life as like the way normal people see it, I guess. I don't know, I see like every day as a new opportunity and a new adventure to abort and reboot and start over.
Yeah, I like it.
It's exciting. Like
It
it's
is
more
exciting.
exciting that way. If you can just be your own person, you can literally do whatever you want to do. If you just stop thinking like what you have in this present moment is all that you have, or everything that you've worked for, you know? I don't know. I've like thrown everything in the dumpster and just like flown across the country so many times at this point that
It's just the norm now.
it's just, yeah, it feels right to like purge my life and start fresh.
I think that was some great words of wisdom. That was great words of wisdom. You went into like a little moment. That was cute.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. So pack up and leave and come to LA.
Yeah, move to LA.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out and inviting me to your home.
That's okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you for letting me expose you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you got to get a little off your chest, but also at the same time, you know,
Yeah.
be able to be you.
Yeah, thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Of course. I'm Joseph, and this right here is the lovely Pearl. Until next time, we'll see you. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. Pearl, what's your YouTube? Plug yourself. Plug yourself.
It's youtube.com/pearlbazaar.
There you go. Follow her on all her socials. If you like what you see and you want more of these interviews with lovely queens and people of the LGBT community, make sure that you click the little button down below, and my Patreon's right down there. Until next time, bye guys.